I'm Robert P. Fitton, and this is a quick synopsis of Matthias Jones' Murder at Tolby Lake. Have you ever had a death threat or threats? I won't answer that question, but Brad Davis is a brilliant genetic researcher acquired by Hamilton Fletcher to work at the college as if he were some sports superstar or racehorse. Davis, however, is quite wild and reckless in his personal life, and death threats are as numerous as the Macintosh apples in the trees at Leo Crowley's orchard in North Hamilton. And let me tell you what everyone in Hamilton already knows. The Fletcher patriarch is not a fan of science, but he is a fan of making money. Genetic patterns can deliver great royalties. When Davis is murdered at Tolby Lake, it's discovered by Jones that his alter ego is a wild life of parties, booze, drugs, and sex that made him a slew of enemies. In fact, Hamilton Fletcher himself is a suspect because on the afternoon of the murder, Davis bloodied Hamilton Fletcher's nose at Tolby Lake. "You're a dead man, Bradley," says Hamilton Fletcher. And what of Davis's relationship to Boston crime boss Albert Fiore? Oh, and poor little student Amy Pollard, found with her handgun, which just happens to be the murder weapon. Pollard is now in jail and brings in Professor Zoe Wilmot into the investigation. Matthias Jones and Wilmot don't hit it off. Wilmot drives Jones crazy with her persnickety attitude. And then Arnie Dewars begins spreading rumors about Jones and Wilmot. "Hey, they're hot and heavy out on dates. I'm just reporting the facts." But Pollard has a huge secret, and I ain't telling what it is. Gus and Irene are neighbors on Tolby Lake and provide not only the comic relief, but witness information about who was at the lake house. And as witnesses, they are in more danger than they can hardly imagine. Lark Larson's former spastic loudmouth assistant, Froggy Finley, wants to take Jones's assistant coach's job away from Carl. Carl is a trained athlete. And of course, Carl has been brought into the college by Hamilton Fletcher as a favor to a friend. Carl leaves for Seattle on summer vacation to his parents' house. Tom McGill is on vacation and brings in his former boss from Philadelphia, Jerry St. Clair, to run the local newspaper, The Enterprise, until he returns. Enter Jerry St. Clair, a walking anachronism with a prehistoric brain. "I'm going to get this up as a byline, a scoop on page 1, Jones." Jones gets rebuffed by Wilmot when he simply wants to take her to the cornucopia to see a movie. Jones, although he thinks Wilmot is a looker, is aggravated by her antics. And now he has Jerry St. Clair, a man living and breathing, or I should say hacking, in the past, a wacko who can't keep his wise-ass mouth shut. His dysfunctional investigation is pure insanity. I'm getting upset even thinking about Jerry St. Clair. And then there's one of Pollard's advisors, Miss Merkel Brown, who adds to Jones's burgeoning problems, all with Froggy, Arnie Dewars, and Jerry St. Clair in orbit inside his head. Plus, Jerry is a chain smoker who drives an old red T-Bird and is constantly taking stomach medication. Jones often frequents the local Colonial House restaurant. Franny McShane is a waitress at the Colonial House and fell in love with Jones as soon as he drove into town. But it takes Jones years to realize this affection, despite hints from his friends, especially Father Gallagher. The throwback Jerry St. Clair calls Franny a Franny doll. Coco becomes a suspect and is held in a cell because of his connection to Albert Fiore. Two hoods attack Coco, which allows another opportunity for Father Gallagher to demonstrate his boxing skills, breaking a man's jaw, which of course is highlighted on page 1 by Jerry St. Clair. Gallagher was New England champion as a youth. Jones and the snooty Wilmot track down the time it would take to cross Tolby Lake, commit a murder, and leave the area. But somebody is not going to like this and shows their displeasure. Over in Prince William, the obnoxious loudmouth Kip Bosco is introduced to the series. He calls Jones Coachy. Kip knows it all, yet he's always wrong, always munching on a Big Mama's donut. The crooked vice cop presents an incompetent, bombastic performance, and of course is always on the take. His favorite expression is, "I'm gonna have to beat you up." It should be noted that George Strickland, like Jones, is one of the so-called normal people in Hamilton. So is lawyer L.G. Bentley. It is this balance between the crazies and the normal people that creates the humor. Pinky Harris, George Strickland's dorky deputy Wendell's uncle, comes into the case via the state police. Pinky likes to throw his weight around and threaten people. I've had experience in real life with a state police cop I knew who always used to tell us, "I'm gonna bring you over the barracks." We get swept into Albert Fiore's Boston crime scene in the exotic glass slipper strip joint in this book. And who killed the stripper named Desiree? I think Jones is on the right track. He locates Coco in Boston, and the idiotic Jerry St. Clair wreaks havoc in the midst of the mafia enclaves. The axis of Hamilton with the larger city of Prince William and trips to Boston works very well in the Matthias Jones series, and occasional trips to other venues to track down murderers adds to the diversity. Let's wrap this up. Well, almost wrap this up. Jerry parallels Jones into upstate New York and at age 80 plus swims miles and miles across a New York lake during a violent thunderstorm and is presumed dead. He's not, unfortunately. There is, as in many Jones books, a great chase scene, and Jones's Jeep, of course, is badly damaged. There's a reference to Coco's Uncle Dulio, who checks out things in Rhode Island. It is Dulio who is featured in future books. He played for Notre Dame and is a one-man destruction force. In fact, Dulio himself is unbelievably indestructible. Yet he's a soft-spoken good guy and a good friend of Jones. Not surprisingly, a suspect's background leads right toward the murderer for Jones. After the murder is solved, and in any Jones book, there's always an epilogue, like a tag on a TV show. Sometimes it takes place at Club Max. Murder at Tolby Lake is available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback, and the audio is on iTunes and audible.com. I'm Robert P. Fitton, and this has been a not-so-quick synopsis of Murder at Tolby Lake.